Okay, the other thing I forgot to do is just to save that file, give it a name, assembly, and make sure that you've got everything as it should be. Now we can start to have a little bit more fun with this. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use the paint bucket tool and start to add some color. I normally go for the pencils. There's some default colors already in there, and we can just start applying those to the pieces that we want to apply them to. Now you'll notice that when I added red to the back piece, it also made the front and the sticks red. The reason for that is because they are a group. So if I want to make any one of those parts a different shape, a different color, what I need to do is double click it, and that allows me to go in, isolate the group and go into the group, and I can then start to change individual parts to be a different color than it was before. Just click to come out, and we've added some color to this. Now if I rotate here, I can see I've got a slight problem. My yellow piece isn't next to the red piece. Somehow it got moved. So I think what I'm going to do very quickly is just reattach that. So I need to select the yellow piece, select the move tool, pick it up from here, and just going to take it along the red line until it matches, and we'll click it to that view now. Let's just have a look if that looks good. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, good. So again, I'm going to hit save. Now looking at this, you can see it looks a little bit cartoony, a little bit unrealistic. So let's spend a bit of time and make this look a little bit cooler. So here's what we're going to do. First thing, let's change how we view this. Let's turn off the guides, those dotted lines that we use to draw, make sure our circles are all lined up. Let's also turn off the axes, and all we're left with is our main object. Now we can make this looks a bit flat. The yellow is just solid. So the next thing we can do is, why don't we view some shadows? That makes it look a little bit more 3D. It makes it look like it's sitting on the floor. If we want to change those shadows, we go to Window Shadows, and by changing these sliders, it changes the angle of the shadows. Okay, we change the time of year, so it changes how long the shadow is, and then we change the angle, and that starts to make it just look a little bit more 3D. You see how this is darker than this surface now, and it starts to look a bit more like a real object. There are some other things you can do. You can add fog onto this. It's not very useful. If you go to Window and then Fog, you can change how foggy it is. Okay, to a point where you can't see anything. For me, I don't think the fog is very helpful at all, but that's up to you. To get some nice images from this, okay, students are often tempted just to take a screenshot, but it doesn't look very nice. If we go to File, Export as a 2D graphic, we can actually get some quite nice images from this. So we'll call it, make it in JPEG option. Under the options, we can choose how big we want it to be. Probably don't need it as big as that. Let's make it 1600. And okay, let's press OK on that and export. And then if we open that, okay, we've actually got, can you see how the lines are a little bit crisper than they were before? Okay, we've got sharper lines. The whole model just looks a lot nicer than it did before. We can always go in and we can change the background color. We can put a floor on here and give it a texture. There's lots of other things that we can do with this just to have a bit more fun. But once we've gone to this, we're basically done at this point.